everyone. Welcome to tonight's study session. And I think we're going to get a presentation from HR today.
Mayor McFarland, members of the council, we're going to talk to you a little bit about expansion of a contract we have with a company called ESI, but just by way of background a little bit, as the year 2000 came up and the first of the baby boomers started to retire, the impact on classrooms in and around the state of Arizona became evident, and so legislation was proposed and passed by the legislature to allow the possibility of someone who had reached normal retirement under the provisions of the Arizona State Retirement System to retire and then be able to contract back into the classroom. It was called phased retirement and what have you, and so that legislation was put in place to be able to kind of beef up the classroom teachers that were available. And a company called Smart Schools came to be, along with a company called ESI, to be able to do that. And through the years, that expanded beyond the schools into city and county government, and a companion company called Smart Works came to be. In January of 2020, Mayor and Council approved one of those third-party agreements for staffing services in order to be able to contract back our city manager at the time. And the proposal was presented, the contract was presented, and the council decided at that particular point in time to limit the ability to contract retired city employees, City of Casa Grande employees, with the city manager position only, but directed that we bring the issue back for further review at a later date. And so we did that about a year ago. In January of 22, we brought the issue back to you for consideration with the possibility of expanding that contract to include other city employees who might be eligible for normal retirement under ASRS to be able to contract back with the city and continue employment. At that particular point in time, there was discussion about the pluses and minuses of that, and the council decided status quo was the way to go at that particular point in time, but again directed that we bring it back for further consideration. And certainly we look at the world around us. I say from time to time that here in Casa Grande we're victims of our own success in relationship to employees that are available out there because of the number of jobs that are available, and it has impacted us in different ways. And well beyond that, as we talk about some of our classifications that we call more difficult to recruit classifications that require some technical expertise or what have you, it's a highly competitive environment out there. There's no question about that. And so our position is that any tool that we can have in our tool bag to use as we consider recruitment and retention of our valued employees is a good thing. And so we're bringing back to you again for a further consideration and discussion this issue of expanding the contract that we have with ESI to include the possibility of other city employees, City of Casa Grande employees, contracting back and continuing their employment. That contract is available for use for employees who are retired from other cities, and of course those who may be retirees from other states. There's no constraint at all. But the ESI contract allows someone to enter into that contract under the terms of which they would continue employment and with us, and their pension with ASRS is not impacted in any way. We again think it's fair to say that there's never been so much competition for talent in the workplace as there is today, and we do struggle from time to time to fill some of those positions. The same as a year ago, we don't have anybody in mind, if you will, who might qualify for this over the course of time. There have been a couple of times when we've talked to individuals, but they were interested in leaving and leaving the workplace entirely, and pretty much that's what's happened with them. The contract with ESI would not require any amendment, but the enacting or the enabling resolution put the limits on how we can use the contract at that time. And again, it was just for the office, the position of the city manager. So again, the key concepts, and you all were involved a year ago in the conversation, some of the key questions that came up about how we were going to make a decision about eligibility. And we envision that eligible employees would discuss that possibility with the department director, the supervisor. That would be made known. If they were supportive of that, in discussion with the city manager, would ultimately make the decision about who would or would not be eligible to contract back. And we're going to use some criteria, that the boxes that have to be checked in order for an employee to be eligible for consideration. And I've outlined those 5 factors for you in my staff briefing. I contrast that in the last paragraph, talked about our public safety retirement, deferred retirement option program. And we talked about that. The DROP program has been around for a long time, where members of the public safety retirement system and police and fire, when they reach normal retirement, they're able to enter the DROP program. They continue their employment. All terms and conditions remain the same, except they don't contribute to retirement any longer, and we don't have to match that. And their normal retirement benefit goes into their DROP account, and it's credited with statutory interest, as a matter of fact. Well, in 2022, the state legislature passed an expansion of that program, and they added 2 years to the original 5. And there was apparently a lot of negotiations about expanding that program. And one of the things that they did in order to make sure that it passed was that unlike the 5 years, which the employer has no choice about, the employee gets that benefit no matter what. The additional 2 years, the employer can grant permission or withhold permission to extend for 2 years. And so we sought out opinions from others, what other communities were doing, some legal advice from attorneys we have access to about employment law issues. And we actually decided to follow the program that the city of Chandler actually put in place, and basically said that all of those who wanted to extend would be able to, unless there were certain conditions present. They had some disciplinary action or what have you. So unlike our proposal under the ASRS, where they would have to be these things in order to be eligible, on PSPRS, our program says that everybody's eligible except these things happen. So that's the contrast, if you will, between police and fire. So that's the program, or as it would be envisioned for retirees of the city of Casa Grande, if you so chose to expand the scope of the contract to include other city employees. Really, that's the basis of the presentation this evening. It's something that you're fairly familiar with because you heard this before. So we want to get some general feedback from you. If you were so inclined to change the resolution to allow its expansion of our current arrangement, we would be bringing that back to you at a future meeting. So before we open it up, I ask Larry if he has anything he wants to add.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, no, Scott, I don't think there's much that I'd like to add at this point in time. Certainly looking for some level of feedback and direction from the mayor and council. I know I've had individual independent dialogue with a couple of you related to this particular topic, and I think Scott does a very good job outlining those the real life scenarios where we have situations where we have a difficult time filling a position, where we've been out in the recruitment phase for months and having just a handful of applications or submittal. I don't necessarily know that would ever solve that this type of expansion would solve that issue unilaterally. But at this point in time, at least for my chair, what I'm looking for is the opportunity to have any tool available and to be able to perhaps have dialogue with those employees in a case-by-case basis where we feel that they are leaving, because we've had scenarios where employees have retired and they've gone to work at other cities under ESI contracts. That would be a good example of where I could ultimately see an immediate opportunity for us to capitalize on. But as Scott's pointed out, and as I've said to several of you, I don't have a specific example of who or where or how at this exact moment, but really it is just the opportunity to have the tool when that situation presented itself.
Questions, anybody?
For a clarification, Scott, if somebody is already in the drop currently and with the new 2 years added, are they allowed to add that onto theirs, or are they already kind of grandfathered into the prior?
No, we went through a process where they were able to declare. So there was a window that opened, and and certainly all but one individual declared for an extension. And so all of our folks, at least that were in the drop program.
Okay, thank you.
Matt?
So, and if you said this, Larry, I didn't catch it, but this wouldn't automatically allow someone to keep their job. We would still open the position in most cases, or, that just in case, to bring new talent in. But I know that there's some very specific positions we haven't got any stuff for, and I think that's what you're envisioning.
Right. Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Herman, certainly there are different criteria that could be established, as Scott has pointed out. I was simply trying to outline a scenario that I think that this tool would be most utilized, or could be most utilized in a scenario. I do know, and I believe Councilmember Lavender is familiar with what transpires at our local school districts. They've written their policy that to ultimately create a criteria that allows employees to consider that in advance to retirement. I understand, right? So their criteria is it's toggled on so that an employee can elect to retire and go to work for ESI by essentially continuing with their work at the school district. In the case that I was attempting to articulate, I see it being invaluable to us from a standpoint of a situation where we have those hard to recruit positions. And I'm not going to say there's a lot of those. There's a handful of them. Scott may have an exact number, but in my mind, that this would be a tool that we could certainly attempt to utilize when we were potentially losing a valued employee to retirement, and we're going to leave and potentially keep the same job at another entity.
And Scott, there's kind of two parts to this, right? There's the PSPRS piece, which is statutorily determined, and then now we're talking about the city's piece for our salary employees. Okay, we'll make sure there's.
Or if I can, it is really
Distinguish the difference there.
our civilian employees. This is and it's the Arizona State Retirement System participants. So that's broader than just salaried employees. Yeah. It's broader than just management and leadership. It really is any employee that works on the civilian side that is not covered in the public safety retirement system, right. Okay. That works more than 20 hours a week.
Okay, thank you, Larry.
Go ahead. Then I'll follow you.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't.
I thought you wanted to.
No.
Oh,
Jeff,
okay.
go ahead.
I'm excited to see this. We have successfully used this program at both the elementary district and the high school district. And what Scott is describing tonight is very similar to the procedure that we use at the high school, where I have the final authority on these things. I think back to February of 2021, I had hit 30 years of service to the state of Arizona. It was not practical for me to stay as an employee of the Casa Grande Elementary School District any longer, because that's when you hit your maximum retirement percentage, which is 2.3%. And so my choice, if we didn't have it in place, I would have walked away and gone to another school district that would have hired me and paid me, then basically did this because they were on ESI. And Larry is absolutely right. We've had directors leave and come back because they had to go somewhere else. And we've had other employees, and the opportunity to keep people, to keep that longevity, to keep that continuum is important. If the people are not who we're looking for, then obviously we don't have to say yes. But this is a benefit we offered our city manager because we knew how valuable Mr. Raines was to the city. It's a benefit our firefighters have through the DROP program. It's a benefit that our police officers have through the DROP program. And And I just think it's a shame we don't make that benefit available to all of our programs, because I can tell you, most of the employees that we have at the high school are not the teachers or administrators that go on this. It's the hard-to-fill support positions, where they have the opportunity now to draw double income when they struggle so much. When I went on retirement, I was paying 12% of my salary to state retirement. And the district was paying 12% of my salary to state retirement. When I did it, I no longer pay the 12%, and the district is paying, I think it's 7% now. So we always did, we call it a win-win. The district's paying less for benefits for that employee. I'm paying less. I'm allowed to come back to work and that. And so I'm excited. Obviously, if it's before us, I would be in support of it.
I believe, I think it's a benefit for our city if we have it in place. And as Councilman Lavender said, we have the right then to say yes or no, depending on that individual, those individuals that are running. Is that correct, Larry?
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor Edwards, that would be correct. But with that being said, I will say that my understanding from past dialogue with the councils on the topic has really focused on managing the expectation that there's not this perception that everybody automatically gets to take part in the program, and that's challenging to come up with a set of criteria that ultimately is going to create, that is going to be utilized in this type of a program. But yes, in our thoughts would be that we would establish a set of criteria that ultimately would be utilized, and there would very likely be some other types of criteria, such as if it is a position that we typically get 100 to 200 applications on, that would be something that we may elect to go out into the market and look for others as well. So we don't have the criteria established today. Scott simply put together a list of criteria that we had talked about with this body a year ago.
Lisa?
Well, I appreciate your insight, Jeff, because obviously this is something you're very familiar with, and many of you are that work in, government and in schools, districts. I've been in the private sector all my career, so this isn't something that, I'm used to and understand and had just experienced. So, but I know this has come up several times, and I definitely see the benefit of us utilizing this for Larry, bringing Larry back. I think the school system, to me, again, being on the outside looking in, seems a little bit different, just because I know there's a, high demand for teachers, retaining teachers, administrators. So I think that, I understand why this is necessary. I do agree that we are facing some challenges and we do need some tools in our toolbox, but is this really what's going to, bring, continue to bring talented people to our organization? I'm all about retention, and we have some fantastic employees, but my concern is if we do this across the board, how are we going to look for those people that want to come into the city, and you're just going to have someone retire and there's no vision for them to be promoted, because it's going to be the same person that's going to retire and stay within a certain position. I understand that it's up to the city manager's discretion, the manager's discretion, but that, to me, again, this could be great. This could be the tool we need. But I just don't feel that I personally have the information necessary for me to feel comfortable with this big policy change. I think that, this, 2-page, report doesn't really give us, numbers, like what does this mean? How does it financially impact the city? It doesn't really tell us, where, how other cities, is this what cities are using? Is this really what's keeping them? Again, I am not against it. I just think that we can there can be more information given to us. So when we see this policy change, we can answer to the community and those people that aren't city employees and government employees that don't understand this, that we can explain to them. So I would really like to see, what cities are using it. You talk about the city of Chandler. So if they can maybe give us some of the criteria they use, and are they, do they struggle with getting new people that, the succession planning? How are they promoting within? How do people internally that are outside, several levels down from a management position, how do they feel about, where they stand in the city? So that's my concern. Again, this could be a great thing for us, to keep employees, to get new employees, but I just am a little concerned about, where, we are with in promoting from within and bringing in new talent and, the vision, where we want to go. I mean, I think I'm not going to say young, new ideas are good and important, whether they're coming from another city, whether they're coming from another organization, that's important for us too. So that's where I am. I would just like to see a little bit more of like an administrative direction, on, this is what the policy is going to look like. This is, we talk about criteria. What will that criteria look like? So then, it's pretty clear. I just would hate for Larry to be the one that's, everything's coming across his desk and he's, he has to answer to every employee, whether they're eligible or not. So I just get a little concerned about that. So,
Yeah, I think this
so
is
just a little bit more information.
Yeah, this is just a preliminary
Right,
kind of
right.
finding. And so I'm sure that, Larry, your plan is to come back with a little more detail in terms of what that criteria looks like. Scott, I know you've talked to Chandler about that. I also want to remind everybody up here, and Lisa, you and I both have been in industry and business, private business, all of our careers. I was in for 36 years. And we don't have systems like this,
I know.
because we don't have retirement systems like this, right? So this is, in government, which I've learned over 7 years, the retirement systems are quite different. And so they put limits on the employees, like they hit 30 years and they don't have an option that's a good option, okay? So they have this, they've set up this ESI type system to sneak around the system, basically, but it also helps the employees then to come back into maybe a company, a city, school district that they live at and they enjoy working at. So I think it's an option. I think it's a good option for the city to have this opportunity and expand the piece that we have already created for the city manager and expand it to the other employees. And I think that's what you're asking about, Larry, right? Is that we expand that policy that we established and include other employees within the city of Casa Grande. And so if we can see some examples more specific in terms of Chandler, maybe other cities that are doing it, how they're dealing with it, what parameters, and I think that's your plan, is to do that. This is just an exploratory opportunity to bring it back to the surface, because we are having some issues. We're losing employees, and we're losing employees to the private industry today. Larry and I talked about it today. We've lost 2 or 3 employees to private business, some of them getting a $57,000 pay raise. So, these are issues that are real, and so we need to have all the tools we can to try and solve this issue, at least today. And that could be changed down the road by a future council, if they so desire.
Mr. Mayor, just members of the council, just a point of clarification. I don't know whether the city of Chandler offers this for their non-public safety employees or not. I was simply saying that we patterned our drop extension program
Okay.
after the city of Chandler. And I try to draw the parallel, make sure you understand that ASR, the SI contract has nothing to do with public safety.
Correct.
But the drop program has been around for 20, 25 years, where a police officer, a firefighter, or a sergeant, or a captain, or a chief can retire on Friday and come back to work on Monday. and there's no change in compensation except they get a raise because they're not paying their share of retirement anymore. So to me, the parallel speaks somewhat to the issue of, for all of the employees in our public safety departments, they have the advantage of continuing their employment post-retirement. And so we don't have that on the ASRS side. Don't know that we will ever use this if we expand it. Don't know that we will ever use it. But it does, and we can get additional details on who ESI has contracts with. I don't know that we're going to be able to get any information on how many times they use it or don't use it, or what classifications they use it for or don't use it for. It simply is a concept that simply is something else to use that historically the city of Casa Grande has not been willing to do at all, and then in 2020 decided to do it for the office of the city manager only. And we talked, this is the second time we've come back with the concept about expanding it to other city of Casa Grande employees. If you work for a neighboring community and retire and want to come to work here, and we can contract you under ESI, because if you retire within a year, you can't go back to work full-time for an ASRS entity. You will impair your retirement. So another city, anybody else can be used for. I went from here to the town of Florence. They already had ESI contract in place. I was their first employee under that contract. So, that worked out. I needed somebody to contract. I was in the same situation as Councilmember Lavender. They needed an HR director, and it worked out beautifully. And so that's the way it went. So we don't know. We'll bring back whatever information you want, but I don't know we're going to be able to get the details of how ostensibly it's used and where it's used, because it could be in place in other communities and they've never used it, as we don't know that we'll ever use it. So it's a concept. It's just one thing that we would have available if it was convenient and necessary to use. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
Mayor, can I make a comment?
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Thank you. Mayor, generally speaking, tonight, I would be against expanding this. I still have the same concerns that I did way back when we approved it for the city manager. We believed that we were in a very unique but dangerous for us situation, and we carefully crafted this to be available only to the council and only for the spot of city manager. I'm still in that position. That's what I would like to see it stay. But I do understand people saying we'd like to see the criteria that it might be used under. I too would like to see that, and I don't know, that may change my mind. My fear all along has been that multiple employees upon reaching retirement age and service years would say me too, and eventually we're going to be faced with telling somebody no, and we're going to have to be blunt about it, that no, this is not for you, even though X number of people have already gone this way before. I don't want us to be in that position. And so I guess in the criteria to outline how and when it would be used, I would like to see some kind of a recruitment crisis, that maybe we've gone through a recruitment, nobody qualified has applied, and we're in a bind. We need to do something to get it through. I don't know how to write that, but I think that's what I would be looking for.
All right, some set of parameters then that would trigger the emergency clause.
Yes, that under normal circumstances we would do a normal recruitment and see who applies. If we go through that process and it's obvious that this is going to be very tough to fill, maybe then we entertain the idea of invoking this return.
Okay. That's an idea. Something to explore. All right.
Thank you.
So did you all get the gist of where we all stand?
I believe so, Mayor. Yes.
Okay. Do you need any more information, Larry? Okay. All right. Any more comments from the council? Okay.
Thank you.
Seeing none, it is 7 o'clock, but I'm going to call for about a 5-minute recess, and then we'll start at 7:05. Study session
You
is
look so
adjourned.
like you're glowing. Little sun.
Not definitely. In fact, I got home.
So should we just maybe okay, Prism goes bottom. Should we just wait a minute. It won't layer in itself? So should we just I guess I think So you just want to hand them their lid after you're done using it? Or Daniel? Print it out? Yes. Well, then, yeah. I was worried about
As I was sitting there, I was like, don't listen to her.
Or I could write it out really quick.
But she did beautiful.
That's good to know for next year. I can text them location.
Yeah. Hi, Paul.
Bob, are you still on?
This one's his version. Yeah, and that's.
Yes, I am.
Okay, we're going to start.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. This is Monday, December 18th, 1 week away from Christmas. So, Merry Christmas, and I wore my Christmas outfit for you all. Hawaiian style. All right, so we'll call the meeting to order and let the record show that all members are present. We have Bob on the phone, so he's still present. And our first order of business is our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. I think Pastor Eldrin is here from the Presbyterian Church. Thank you, Pastor, and then please remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. I think this time of year, exactly 1 week before Christmas, it may not be a bad time just to take a moment of silence and take a deep breath and just let our spirits have a moment of repose. Father God, bless our meeting tonight, all of our decisions with your wisdom, your guidance, your spirit. 1 week before Christmas, let us pause to hear your voice through this noise of the season. And in our hearts, when we find ourselves distressed by challenges, concerned for members of our family, or fearful of those who oppose us, grant us peace that's not defined by this life, and let our hearts not be troubled or let them be afraid, but give us your thoughts, your meditations, your will to follow, that we may claim the title of being your disciples. Bless all who are cold tonight or hungry, and help us to find solutions to their needs. Bless our city with your peace and prosperity, and bless its many employees and its schools in their well-deserved rest. We are able to do so much more with you, so give us your help. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Paul. And I want to also call out Anthony Edwards, our new first night Mayor Pro Tem. Welcome. And good job. Nice job on the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. I get the roll call out of, I just realized I just did that. So let the roll call show that all members are present.
So noted.
All right, thank you. I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway. Minutes, our next item on the agenda.
Mayor McFarland move that we approve the minutes of the council regular meeting of December 4th, 2023, and also accepting the Casa Grande Arts and Humanities Commission minutes of November the 7th, 2023, and can accept the Casa Grande Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of November the 2nd, 2023.
Second?
A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion is approved. Minutes are approved. Claims against the city, item D.
Mayor McFarland, I move to accept and pay the claims dated November 29th to December 12th, 2023 as presented.
Second?
A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the claims are approved. Next item is item D1, E, which is our meeting agenda. Larry, any changes from council?
Mr. Mayor, we have no changes. Just a reminder that we do have executive sessions scheduled if you are going to want to do reports in advance.
All right, thanks, Larry. Yeah, so I will make an amendment to our agenda. I'm going to move reports, item N, to come after our item L items, so just before M. Any other changes from council? Anything, Bob?
No.
All right, seeing none, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. Now we have a bunch of special presentations. So our first item on this is our swearing in of our new firefighters. Welcome, gentlemen. And before you start, I have to ask, is this the biggest class we've had? Chief? No? Okay. Well, it's got to be second then. Oh, wow, okay. Sorry, you guys are slackers. You're not the biggest class. Congratulations, though. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Welcome. Congratulations.
Good job. All right, good. I feel safer already. Good job, gentlemen. All right, next is our presentation of the Electric Light Parade Awards. So if we can, I'll come down.
Oh, did you?
So is Mission Royale Adult Community here? Must be the ones dressed up. Would you guys come on up? Don't ask me why I knew it was you guys. Because you have way too much fun. Well, first of all, I love the outfits. It's great. And secondly, I want to congratulate you all because you actually won the Mayor's Trophy for Mission Adult Community, Mission Royale Adult Community for 2023. So congratulations. Who's in charge? Oh, come on. Gotta get up here. Come on up here.
Oh, okay.
This is the motley crew that puts it together.
We're gonna get a picture.
Yeah. Grab the microphone and bring it back here.
says up.
These are nice trophies.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice job on the trophies, by the way. These are beautiful. It's etched glass, in case you all didn't know. Anyway, so the People's Choice Award this year. Can I have CG Autoplex? Are they here? There they are. Congratulations. Thank you. So we're going to get a picture? Okay, so don't go away. Do we give 2 away? Oh, I'm just kidding. People's Choice.
Yes.
Of course, you guys would get another one, right?
We have Mission Royale as well.
Well, there you go. So for Most Original Award, CG Autoplex. Congratulations. Thanks, Matt. You'd be smarter than the microphone. Oh, we should just left them up here. You guys are taking home some hardware tonight. So for Most Creative Costumes, now I got the costumes. I got it. Mission Royale. You can hold this one. You should bring the other one up too. Oh, you did. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Get that hat on.
Congratulations again.
Got the most festive, and that's the
All right, most festive. This is perfect. Tuscaloosa Union High School Band and Spirit Line. There we go.
Just a substitute to pick up for them.
Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah, you do. Come on. Yep.
But I'm not them, but I'll do it
Here,
for this high school.
show off your logo there. Come on. There you go.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations too to the band. What a great year you guys have had.
you really want both of them, so.
So, biggest and brightest. Do we have to include these guys? I'm just kidding. It's the Eloy Fire District. Are they here? Oh, man. They boycotted it because they knew I was going to diss them. Well, I think they got 2 of them, so we'll announce it. Let's announce it now. So they also won we changed the name of this award. It's the Public Safety Award, but we called it the Gene Lehman Public Safety Award in honor of Gene Lehman, who was one of our a contributing firefighter for about 50 years for the city and passed away in October. So anyway, congratulations to Eloy Fire for winning 2. Tell them now I'm going to really diss them because they didn't show up. Oh, Richard?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, sir, please do. Richard Rosales, I'm Public Affairs with APS, and I'm here to present the APS Power to Make It Happen Award. But I do want to clarify why Eloy Fire District won all those awards, because they have a lot of time to decorate, right? Whereas our fire department here, and I'm from Eloy, I just know that, so that's, sorry to break the news. But yeah, I'm here, and I think that's also applies
It
to.
is getting broadcast.
Oh. Sorry about that, Chief Weddle. But I'm here to present the APS Power to Make It Happen Award. Again, the same kind of thing applies to the winners of this. They have a lot more time than we do. I'm just kidding, ED2. But ED2 is the winner of the APS Power to Make It Happen Award. They did a beautiful job with lighting up their equipment, and we stole some ideas from them.
First year, right? First year? Oh, second. All right. So you've had some practice. Thank you. And thank you to APS. Really, they sponsor our electric light parade every year. So, Richard, thank you to APS and all that you guys do for our community. So, thank you. Any final words, Danny?
I hope everybody had a good time. We're looking forward to next year. Thanks to Sol, she was in the picture. She organized this entire event along with her assistant over there, Anna He. So, round of applause for them. So, it's an excellent event. So, we'll see you next year.
So the next presentation is going to be given by Councilmember Lavender. This is for presentation to the Cascaran Union Girls Flag Football Team.
Well,
Jeff?
thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Why don't you guys go stand up there? You know, earlier tonight we were talking about retention, and one of the things that was really exciting this year was the first year of AIA girls flag football in the state of Arizona. And we were excited to have the program at both of our schools, at Cascaran Union and Vista Grande. We had our first annual Chamber of Commerce Bowl this year, which Cascaran Union won. But the really neat thing was the end of the year for the end of the year awards. And so we've got Coach White here, and he's familiar to all of us. He was a former Casa Grande Cougar quarterback. He was the son of Dave White, our former Parks and Rec director. Our regional park is named after. He went on to West Virginia University, where he was the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl MVP, I think in 82, correct, Kevin, or 83? Okay. And then he was our city attorney, sitting over there where Brett Wallace is, and then was elected Superior Court judge for Pinal County. And then this July, he retired and came back to work as interventionist because we could hire him because he was on ESI. See, the city couldn't hire him. And we hired him as our flag football coach. In this first year, with our 7th place seeding in the state tournament, he was the regional coach of the year. So congratulations, Coach White. And then we have 2 freshmen up here today, and I want to emphasize freshmen. We have Nisi Armstrong and her dad. Her father, Cameron, is here. Cameron is our assistant head basketball coach at Union, also helps coach our football team as well. Nisi is just a natural athlete and had never played football before this year and was the regional defensive player of the year. Nisi Nisi, I know at one time you led the nation in interceptions. How many did you end up with? It was double figures. Was it 10? 10 interceptions. She was also Arizona Sports Television Network named her as the freshman running back of the year. She was also in soccer. She's currently in soccer right now. The other night she scored 3 goals in our game against Vista Grande. The highlight of her season was a 70-yard touchdown return in which she ran 70 yards at full speed and did a full flip into the end zone and got a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. And I told the referee, you know what, unless you can do that, you should never throw the flag for that. Nisi also just finished her first semester with all A's, a 4.0 average, so congratulations. And then we have Kayla Tacker here. Her parents are Duran and Mike Tacker, who are up front. Nisi was the defensive regional player of the year. Kayla was the regional player of the year this year. The Arizona Republic also named her to their first team, all defensive team. She had 13 interceptions. Arizona Sports named her the co-freshman of the year. And the other co-freshman of the year is actually her cousin. So football goes deep into this family, as you can see. And then I was not at our last city council meeting because Kayla was up for Arizona Defensive Player of the Year by BJ Media, and she won the award, and this is her trophy. Kayla, come to And Kayla is also an honor roll student, and so as a district, we're so proud of these young ladies. If it hadn't been for flag football, Kayla probably would be going to school with her cousin up there in Eastmark, and so the ability to have this program, the ability to have a great coach like Kevin White is really going to be the driving force of keeping this program. We also had freshman quarterback that's done real well this year, lots of freshmen. Coach, I'm going to ask you to say the final words, and then they can go around and be congratulated.
So I used to come into this room, Mike Tacker reminded me, as the cafeteria when I was in high school. And I hadn't thought about that in many years, Mike. I used to sit over there where Brett Wallace is sitting, or at least next to where Brett Wallace is sitting. And I'm here today as the first head flag football coach at Casa Grande Union High School in the history of Casa Grande. Life takes many strange turns. And this has been a great one. This has been a great one. We had a fantastic season. First meeting, I asked how many of you have ever played an organized flag football game. I think we had 4 hands come up out of 29. And we had to deal with that historic heat wave, and those kids came out. We started out with 29, and we finished with 25. That's one of the things I'm most proud of, that we could keep all of those kids out here. Jeff talked about the accomplishment that these two had on the field, and they're not alone. We have a slew of others. And you better get a seat for these kids because they're freshmen. I got news for you. We got 3, 4 others. They're going to be coming back here every year, so you might as well get a seat for them and get ready for them to be back. But what I want to say is, hey, they are great players, but they are great people. They are great kids, and they're going to be great leaders. I hope we can keep them in this community. It's a special community, and I hope they can see that, and I hope their experience in Cougar girls flag football convinces them that this is a place to live and to raise your family, because they're going to be outstanding citizens. Football is nice. It's very impressive. But I'll tell you what I'm most impressed with. These two are just lights out, great kids. You should all be very proud of them. Thank you all for showing your recognition for girls flag football, and for Kayla and for Lenisi. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Congratulations. Mighty man, what's up? All right, mighty man. Yes, sir.
Mayor, you should be down.
One thing I failed to mention, that is actually a catch that Kayla made this year.
She's short.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. On your tippy toes, Kathy.
I got y'all.
There's got to be a good one.
Thank you. I brought him for you.
I mean, you actually read the agenda? Congratulations again, guys.
Thanks for coming.
All right, we have one more presentation, not the least of which is the most important. But just to recognize Mr. Jeff Lavender as last year's Mayor Pro Tem and for his service to the city of Casa Grande.
I just want to thank the mayor for having good health and being so busy because I didn't have to do a whole lot.
All right. So we'll move right into item G, which is our consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and one roll call vote of the council. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or a member of the public so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda. Is there anyone on council who would like to remove any of the consent agendas? Bob, anything you have?
No, sir.
Sorry you didn't get to see all the poop and circumstance.
I know, I missed a lot.
All right. Actually, that's pomp and circumstance, sorry. Nobody caught that.
I did. We're gonna let you slide.
We caught it, but we didn't want to throw no light on it. Since you threw light on it.
All right. I'm just seeing if you're paying attention. All right. Anybody from the public want to remove anything from the consent agenda? All right. Seeing no one, then I will consider a motion to approve.
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, next is our public comments. Just want to remind everybody, this is an opportunity to address the council. I would ask that you, if you approach the podium, please state your name, your address, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes because there's a timer and it will go off at the end of 3 minutes. Also reminding everybody that this is a public comment section. It's not on our agenda other than the opportunity for you to address the council, so we cannot comment back to you. So we're not being rude, it's our open meeting law requirement. So is there anyone who would like to address the council? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to have said something nice and all cheery, but I did that last week, so might be my last time talking to you, I don't know. I am Jean Henderson, 204 East 9th Street, Casa Grande, Arizona, 85122. On Facebook, hate and darkness slowly slipped into Casa Grande in the late 90s with the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, white supremacists who are affiliated with those who attacked the Capitol 1621 and whose members seem to be some of the first responders, businesses, and all the NASCAR wannabes. These are those attacking my body 24/7 using what seems to be Pegasus. I have been forced to have sex mostly through this stolen military technology for 20 months and have asked for help to no avail. Rape is the number 2 crime against humanity worldwide, with genocide first. Of the 38 Casa Grande police I know, I trust only 7, certainly. Officer Wilcox seems to be the person who began all that's been perpetrated on me. As far as we've talked outside the library one Sunday and he left, suddenly cars swarmed around my truck and have kept swarming and making loud and various sounds near me. Officer Reed told me Officer McCloskey is the only person who can disconnect the amplifier and all inside my truck. Officer McCloskey told me then that they were in there in 6 of 21. I've asked for this before. I demand that they be removed, as 520 audio looked in the wrong places. Another plate of a harasser, Arizona 1219, a low loud Pontiac. My traumatic stress syndrome is daily and I hardly get sleep. I wanted to live here, but no one has helped, so I go to my home in San Diego soon and to the San Diego Police and FBI. Many women here know of the problem and are experiencing such. Don't women deserve better? Doesn't the Bible say to revere women? Also, this group hates single women, veterans, blacks, Mexicans, all religions, homeless, and more. Okay, this is really serious, but I wanted to say this, okay? Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. All right, is there anyone is here who would like to address the council? Go ahead. Please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Kurt Bauer. I reside at 228 East Pebble Court, Casa Grande. Marilyn McFarland, an esteemed city council member and city staff. I am here to discuss a morning pickleball program that controls 9 courts at Dave White Park. This program limits access to the courts for those who wish to enjoy the rapidly growing sport during prime times from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. This leaves newcomers and enthusiasts alike with only 3 courts to use. I spoke with this community service director in the late summer to inform him that there would be an increased public demand for the courts this winter. In the spirit of cooperation, a compromise was discussed aimed to allocate 6 courts for the program and leave remaining 6 open courts with public during peak hours. However, last-minute changes gave the morning pickleball program 3 more courts, leaving the public with only 3 courts in the most undesirable location of the park. Pickleball is currently the fastest growing sport in the country, which means an increasing number of people eager to participate. However, with just 3 courts available to the public, it's impossible to accommodate the growing demand. While this program is sponsored by the city, the program is run exclusively by unofficial, self-appointed volunteers who are also participants in the program. This year and in past years, there have been confrontations between the volunteers and non-program participants. The city hired a part-time court monitor to enforce the rules, yet volunteers continue to confront non-program participants about who can and cannot use the courts when they have been encouraged not to. Our committee represents over 60 signatures on a petition seeking a return to the original compromise, granting unrestricted access to 6 courts for non-program participants during high-demand hours. This ensures fair rotation, play, and accommodates the diverse group who wish to enjoy pickleball independently. Transparency is important when it comes to community engagement, and we respectfully urge the Parks Department to communicate openly with all of us. We request opportunities for community input, allowing a cooperative approach and consider the needs of all pickleball players. We have urged our members to attend community service advisory board meetings to express concerns. There has only been a few this year, the last one being in June. In conclusion, I encourage the city staff to have discussions regarding this issue. A select few shouldn't have unrestricted access to the courts when there are many others who want to play as well. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and we'll move on. First item of business tonight is our award of contracts, which is I-1. Kevin?
Thank you. Staff recommends that the mayor and city council authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Hunter Contracting with a total bid amount of $7,949,630. We are also asking for a city contingency of $800,370 for a total project amount of $8,750,000. This contract will provide for the construction of the Courtson Relief Sewer Line. This will be an additional sewer line in the Courtson alignment, running approximately from Hennis Road alignment all the way to our wastewater treatment plant. This will provide new capacity that will help support continued development throughout the east half of our city, and we're going to be moving forward with 24,400 linear feet of 18-inch ATPE force main, and we're also going to be having a lift station that will provide service to that, but that'll be approved under a separate contract for that. This project does have a 15 calendar day allowance for substantial completion with a total project amount of 365 calendar days. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council? All right, seeing none, then I'll call for a resolution number, please, Gloria.
Resolution number 5606, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting a bid from Hunter Contracting Company for the construction of the Courtson Relief Sewer Project, authorizing expenditure of public funds and authorizing the execution of a contract.
Mayor McFarland, I move that we approve Resolution 5606 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, we'll move to item L, which is our public meetings and public hearings. So our first item on the agenda is L1, public hearing considering approval of resolution 5273.24.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Can we talk about some of these all at one time and then vote on them separately?
That's how the presentation's set up.
Okay.
So we'll do two separate votes at the end.
Okay.
Rose Law Group's requesting a major general plan amendment to amend the land use category from neighborhoods to manufacturing industry. They're also requesting a major amendment to a planned area development to amend the land use to allow for mining for about 186 acres of land generally located north of Casa Grande, Maricopa Highway, and west of Bianco Road. So the Arizona Sonoran Copper Company has been working to reopen the Sacatone mine as the Cactus Mine. In 2021, a major general plan amendment and PAD zoning was processed and approved to expand the boundaries of the mine. Earlier this year, a second zone change request for 333 acres was added. And then this request is to further expand the mine boundary. You can see here is Cactus Mine 1 is kind of in the purple surrounding the existing mine that sits in the county. You see Cactus Mine 2 PAD is just north of this one. This site will then become manufacturing industry and change the zoning to be PAD to allow for the mining use. In regards to the general plan review criteria, we cover the following criteria. All were provided in the staff report. We'll just hit on one item tonight, and that's describe in detail how any of the general plan goals and/or action steps are achieved. A goal I1 is to provide and expand the manufacturing industry land use areas to accommodate for a variety of industries. Again, we're reintroducing the copper mining in the city. Action step for that is to identify locations where it would be beneficial to increase the manufacturing industry areas. This one's concurrent with the existing mining area, so it's a logical expansion of that area. And then goal MI3 is to promote diversified types of industry and uses. Goal MI5 is to encourage appropriate and responsible industrial development in appropriate locations. So it hits on all of those. In regards to the zoning review criteria, this is the criteria we cover. Again, it's all been covered in the staff report provided. We'll just hit on one item that's the most important, was the interrelationship with the plan elements to conditions both on and off the property. Here you can see an example of waste rock storage in a leach field. These are the two aesthetic impacts that a mining operation could have on the city. So what we've done is ensure that we keep the setbacks for those type of uses back a little farther. With Maricopa Casa Grande Highway, we realized that that's an entryway into the city. So we wanted to make sure that we were providing an appropriate buffer for any of those aesthetic impacts as people come in and out of Casa Grande. So we've pushed that to about 1,000 feet for those types of uses on the site. And we've also limited the amount of slope that you can have, and you can see on the screen the slope graphic and the approximate setback that the leach pads and or waste rock storage would have. In regards to notification, we met or exceeded all requirements. We did not receive any comments on these requests at this point. So in conclusion, Planning Commission on a 7-0 vote recommend the City Council approve DSA 23-00158, a major general plan amendment to amend the land use category from neighborhoods to manufacturing and industry for 186 acres of land generally located north of Casa Grande Maricopa Highway and west of Bianco Road. Additionally, Planning Commission on a 7-0 vote recommend the City Council approve DSA 23-00159, a major amendment to a planned area development to amend the land use to allow for mining on that same amount of land. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council? Okay. So this is a public hearing, so we'll have the first public hearing on item L1, which is the general use plan amendment. Is there anybody here who would like to address this issue? I will open the floor. All right, seeing none, then I'm going to close the floor and we'll call for a resolution number, please, Gloria, on item L1.
Resolution number 5273.24, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending the City of Casa, amending the City of Casa Grande 2030 General Plan adopted by Resolution 5273 as previously amended by changing the land use designation from neighborhoods to manufacturing and industry on property generally located north of Casa Grande Maricopa Highway and west of Bianco Road, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of resolution number 5273.24 as presented.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yeah.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, our next item, which we've already heard the information on, thank you, Joe, is item L2, and this is, again, well, I'm going to ask for council input here first, but this is on the zoning change for the same piece of property. Any questions or anything for, okay? Because I know the mine is here, so if we do have some questions, they're here to answer them. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. All right, seeing none, no questions from the council, then I will open the floor for public comment. This is a public hearing, so if you do have any comments on item L2, now would be your opportunity to speak. All right, seeing none, then I'm going to close the public hearing, and I'll call for an ordinance number, please, Gloria.
Ordinance number 1178.309.02. An ordinance of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, approving a zone change through a major amendment to 186 acres of the Maritara planned area development to create the new Cactus Mine Phase 3 PAD, all for property generally located west of Bianco, west of Bianco Road and north of Casa Grande Maricopa Highway, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor McFarland, I move that we approve ordinance number 1178.309.02 as presented.
Second?
All right, I have a motion and a second. May I please get a roll call vote, Gloria?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Joe. Next item is item L3. This is also a public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 5273.25.
Good evening, City Council members. So this is a major general plan amendment for approximately 55 acres of land known as Peartley Point. The amendment area sits on the west side of Peart Road, approximately 400 feet north of Jimmy Kerr. It's currently in the neighborhood's general plan land use area, and the proposal is to amend that 55 acres and place it into the commerce and business designation. The background for this has to do with the fact that Peartley Point is part of a approximately 218-acre proposed annexation area. The annexation is soon to be scheduled for council consideration, but the area that Peartley Point is located in plans to come forward upon annexation and request zoning. Of their land uses that they're proposing, it doesn't currently comply with the neighborhood's land use designation. And so the proposed general plan amendment area would place it into commerce and business, which would align with their proposed use in their PAD. Seeing as how this property is not yet in the city but sits within Pinal County, we did reach out to Pinal County for input and we did not receive a response. However, even though this is currently outside of city limits, it is within our general plan area. And so it is appropriate to consider amendments to the general plan for property that is not yet within city limits. Just a little bit of background, the current land use category of neighborhoods finds a list of appropriate uses, including residential, neighborhood scale, office, and commercial. And there's a list of appropriate base zoning categories that help accommodate that, mainly single-family residential zones, multifamily, etc. As a commerce and business designation, there's a much broader list of appropriate uses, including multifamily residential, larger scale commercial, but more importantly, business park, light manufacturing, and warehousing and distribution. Part of the Peartley Point PAD intends to use that proposed commerce and business area for a business park, light industrial type use. They would have to comply with the general development standards that are prescribed within the Casa Grande general plan. And I do want to point out that it does indicate that light industrial and office uses should be highly encouraged on sites not immediately adjacent to highway interchanges. And so this location's ideal, being just a little bit north of Jimmy Kerr along Pier on an entryway into the community. In reviewing the general plan criteria, the staff report goes into these in greater detail, but I want to just talk about the 3 highlighted items. The first is how each of the general plan guiding principles are achieved with the proposed general plan amendment. Of the guiding principles, there's actually 11, but the 2 that stand out is that community growth should be driven by industrial, corporate office, and professional services, and that is the intent behind this application. The other guiding principle is support and strengthen Casa Grande's position as the industrial and commercial center of Pinal County. The other criteria that I want to talk about is Goal CB-1, develop economically competitive regional centers. The action step associated with that is to promote a wider range of uses than traditional commercial areas, including blended commercial and industrial sites. This would achieve just that because the proposed area that is to go into commerce and business with council approval would provide a good transition from the manufacturing and industry area that you have, that we currently have located on the south side of Jimmy Kerr. It aligns with the commerce and business designated properties along Jimmy Kerr, and it'll serve as a transition to the neighborhoods category that lies further to the north and to the east. It also, I think, is good to point out that the result of this general plan amendment has the following effect. It results in an overall decrease in the neighborhoods category by 0.107%. By changing these 55 acres to commerce and business, it has an overall effect of an increase of 0.39% of the commerce and business designated properties. Regarding the public notification process, since this is a general plan amendment that can only occur twice a year, the beginning part of the notification started quite a while ago, and as a result of the various public notification process and meetings leading up to this, there were only 3 phone calls that were received, but no particular support or opposition was expressed. And it was also probably tied in with a number of other sign postings that those residents probably saw, since there's also a pending annexation. Staff did make a recommendation to Planning Commission that they move to forward to City Council a recommendation to approve. And when Planning Commission met in November, they did unanimously forward a recommendation to Council to approve the general plan amendment for Peartley Point. And that concludes my presentation.
So there was no comments, no public comments?
No.
Okay. Anyone? Council? All right, seeing no council questions, then I'll open item L3 to the public. This is a public hearing, so it's an opportunity for anybody who would like to address item L3 to come forward. Do so. All right, seeing no one jump up, then I'm going to close the public hearing and I'll call for a resolution number on item L3, please, Gloria.
Excuse me. Resolution number 5273.25, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending the City of Casa Grande 2030 General Plan adopted by Resolution 5273, as previously amended by amending the land use designation from neighborhoods to commercial and business on property generally located west of Pier and north of Jimmy Kerr Boulevard and south of Yearly Road, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of Resolution 5273.25 as presented.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Thank you. Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you, Jeff.
That's usually what I do. All right, next item on the agenda is L4, again, a public hearing considering approval of ordinance number 1178.444. Jacqueline, is this yours?
Yep, good evening, Council. This request is for a zone change located at 410 West 3rd Avenue, and it's at the northeast corner of 3rd Avenue and Mercedes Avenue in the downtown area. And it's a request from I-1 light industrial to R2 multifamily residential. Here's the three zone change review criteria that staff reviews and is included in greater detail in the staff report. The first one is that the goals of the downtown land use area is to reintroduce housing and residential opportunities within the downtown area. And one of the action steps of the downtown area is to be proactive with infill development in neighborhoods near the downtown area. Regarding rezoning conforms to the general plan, the requested zoning of R2 and is an appropriate zoning district within the downtown land use category. And the third is that the proposed zone change is necessary and proper at this time to meet the land use needs of the residents of the city. So the R2 will allow the site to be developed as an infill residential development and will add to the existing neighborhood to the south and north, or excuse me, east and north of the area. I did also want to point out to the south of this is the Florence and Ash development, and that final plat should be coming to you shortly as well. Regarding notification efforts, the applicant and staff met all the requirements. I did not receive any comments or inquiries for this request. At the November 2nd Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, the commission voted unanimously to forward a recommendation of approval to City Council for the zone change request from Garden and Light Industrial I-1 to residential multifamily R2 with our common right-of-way condition of approval.
So this was I-1 before?
Correct.
And so what was on the site before? Looks like a bunch of barrels.
Porta Johns.
Oh, those are Porta Johns?
Yeah.
Oh,
Used to be
okay.
the can man.
Oh, okay. So we're going to turn it back into residential?
Correct.
Looks good to me. Okay. Just curious. Any comments or questions from council? Okay. Seeing none, then this is a public hearing, so I'll open the floor to the public hearing on item L4. This is your opportunity to address council on, again, item L4. Okay. Seeing no one, then I will close the public hearing and we'll call for an ordinance number, please, Gloria.
Ordinance number 1178.444. An ordinance of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from garden and light industrial to multifamily residential on property located at 410 West 3rd Avenue, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of ordinance number 1178.444 as presented.
Second.
All right, I have a second. A motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, that concludes most of tonight's business. We did move the reports up to this point in the meeting. So I think I'll start with you, Bob, since you're on the phone.
Okay. Mayor, I was able to attend the police department funeral for Chaplain Bob Cornelius. I'd like to publicly thank him for all of his service. I believe he was chaplain for 57 years.
Wow.
I worked with him throughout my entire career, so I knew him in many different capacities. He's truly a man of God and a good friend. We're sorry to see him pass. Also attended the first Christian concert in Casa Grande at Crossroads Church. We got to see Dave Crowder Band, who is nationally recognized. It was an excellent concert, and it promises to be only the first of many. We have another one scheduled for February. So I would encourage everybody to attend one of the concerts and be prepared for a great time. Also, last but certainly not least, Merry Christmas to everyone. I hope everyone has a safe and wonderful Christmas coming up. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Bob. Lisa?
Of course, we're all seeing all the wonderful things our community is doing right now. There's so much giving, with all the different nonprofits giving food, distributing gifts, bell ringing, raising money. So I just wanted to thank all the community members for just being there. Our community is just so giving and strong. So I just want to thank everyone. Of course, there's a lot of sadness going on, with the loss, not only Chaplain Cornelius, we just heard Bill Norris passed away today, a longtime council member with the city and community member. And then also the funeral for Haley Stevens the other day. And I'll tell you, it was just eye-opening. It makes you really sit back and think, about how important and precious life is. And I just, Chief, it was just, I know no words can say. It's just very sad, and I just feel for the Fire family and the Stevens family and all those children. And I think Tim Hill was so wonderful in his message at the beginning. And I think what I took from him at the very beginning, he said, what we need to do is flood this community with prayer. And all of our children should be able to go to spend time with their friends and not be gunned down. So I just really ask the community to pray, for our community, that we, continue to be safe, for our public safety, people that are continuing to do that for us. And, during this time of, Christmas, and, just reflect on the importance and continue to be strong and pray for our community. We talk, as far as those people in need, the transit system, when I was bell ringing at Safeway, I saw the transit bus pull in, and I saw several people get off it. So it was a perfect opportunity for me to go in and talk to them. And it was great. It is so nice. A gentleman that moved here from Oregon and didn't have any transportation. He's 70-something years old, handicapped, and isn't able to get around, and was just so happy that this service is here, and said it's something that we've needed for a long time. So talking to Deb, our transit manager, she said this week, either today or tomorrow, is going to be the 5,000 passenger this week. And we've only been 2 months, Larry, 3 months, 2 months. So they're actually going to do like one of those balloon grams or whatever. They're going to celebrate whoever that 5,000 rider is. So that lucky person, it'll either, I don't know if it happened
They'll get
today. Did
another
you guys
free
hear?
ride?
Did it happen today? It's either today or tomorrow. She said sometime earlier this week. So so continue to.
We're going to give them a free ride.
I'm sure they'll get a free ride too. So it's exciting seeing the buses around. People are using it, and so I just want to thank Deb and her committee and everyone and staff for moving this forward. So, and again, happy holidays. Please stay safe and cherish your loved ones. That's it.
Anthony?
I would just say, just to piggyback off of what Councilwoman Lisa Fitzgibbons mentioned about Chief Kind, God bless you and all the firefighters and the support that you all given us. The Stevens family, you all look really, really good as support for our family. And I appreciate also Chief McCory's here as well, and all that you all do in our community, because a lot of times you don't get told the good things, you always get told the bad things. So we appreciate all that you all do and the support And Casa Grande has always rallied behind one another to support one another, and we want to continue that unity. And so just very appreciative to you all, as well as our pastors that have been praying for our community. And as you stated about Pastor Hill, mentioned about the unity, and enjoyed also Pastor Barra, who spoke, did the message for Haley's funeral. Appreciate him and his service. And just that we can continue to rally behind each other in prayer. Prayer is key. And so thankful for each of you for all that you've done behind the scenes as well. Also wanted to, I know he left already, Richard. I had a luncheon with APS and the different individuals throughout our area. Great luncheon this week. Also our city manager, Larry, was there. Appreciate him being there as well. We had a wonderful luncheon with them. I appreciate that. As well as coming up, I know Jeff is going to talk about a couple other things, but we have the Martin Luther King Jr. Day that's going to be on the 15th of January. So I'll be reaching out to our pastors, churches coming together in unity for that as well. And we have a lot of other visitors coming up as well.
Day of service.
Day of service. And so to everyone, God bless you all. And I pray that you have a blessed Christmas and a blessed New Year. God bless you.
Thanks, Anthony.
Matt? Okay. I just want to say too about the services for Haley, but it shows the community coming together, and that's what was important. And just to see all those young people there, but at least they had each other and they knew the community was behind them. And we've had great support from our local newspaper, Jody, and the Dispatch with all that. And even some of the bigger news channels out of Phoenix came afterwards, as Jeff and I had talked about, and show the positivity that was going on. And also important to, of course, mention the surrounding communities as well, because in addition to our great fire department, police department, Eloy Fire Department had a big presence there too. As Chris grew up in Eloy too, I knew from when we were here. So, it's been a week like that of doing a lot of stuff around the holidays, which included the menorah lighting celebration out in front. And at that, I saw Dr. Paul Ellis, who's the chaplain now of the police department. He told me about Dr. Cornelius that night, but he said, I've been asked to go on a trip to Israel in February. He goes, I want you to let everybody know that, and so that we can go over there and help them deal with all the adversity they're dealing with in Israel. So that was neat. And as we're here with the Hanukkah lighting, man, it's getting bigger every year. And they had some young men from Scottsdale, from a Hebrew school, and they were having a lot of fun and showing us how to celebrate Hanukkah. And then there's so many members of the community and a rabbi, and then he asked Councilwoman McBride and my wife Erica to light the candle. And I'll just say I had to help because it was a tall candle, and they couldn't quite reach it.
Yeah.
But the Gentiles got it done, and we did good. And so it was a great celebration. And then after, it's an important year for Hanukkah too, with everything that's going on in Israel. And it's really good for the entire community to pray and see the light that's going on right here. So anyway, it's just neat to have all these newer, older, and all these different traditions in this community where I grew up. And now we're just getting bigger and having, a lot more culture. So it's neat to see. Like everyone said, have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And it's going to be sad when we come back and we're not decorated up anymore in the council chambers. So thank you all.
It was an honor to be part of the menorah lighting, even though it was hard to light. But I will
It was the winds too, I will say.
Yeah. But it was very humbling to be part of that and to see our community come together. Thanks to the police department who was nearby and out of sight, making sure that we were safe. A couple other things I just wanted to mention. We were able to meet the firefighters. I went to their academy graduation, and I think there was 39 in the class. And it was such an honor to see all the families there supporting them and to be able to watch them getting pinned. And so it was a nice ceremony. I did go to the Pinnell Partnership Breakfast last week. They did an outlook for 2024. That was really interesting. Blue Santa was this past Saturday. Thank you to the police department and the foundation. I think they said that we had 500 families that was supported, and I know how much work that goes in when you're getting all those presents together. And then I also had the honor of honoring some veterans at the Wreath Across America. I did the welcome for that out at the cemetery, and so that was a lot of veterans that were out there. This has been a sad few weeks for our community, but I think that there is hope when we have that many people coming together to help with so many things, and as Lisa had said, so many people helping those that can help themselves right now, and the families. So with that, Merry Christmas, and please be safe.
Yeah.
You know, and I appreciate the comments about Haley's service on Saturday as well. A few weeks ago, Dr. Lineberry, the principal at Union, and I went to visit the family at the hospital. And as we were riding in the car, I told Dr. Lineberry, you're about to see what a community really does and how we're going to wrap our arms around this family. I told a reporter that from the Republic when I interviewed with him the next day. I said, I hope you come back to the funeral to see all the things that's going to take place in these upcoming weeks to support this family. You know, I sat with the dad on Thursday as we gave him some of Haley's belongings at the school, and it's just a feeling of hopelessness because there's nothing that you can say to this family that's ever going to make them feel better. They have to go through this process. But we saw the true values of our city and how we supported this family. And Chief, the fact that all of your firefighters were there on Saturday, that you worked hard to make sure that happened, because I know it was important to them to wrap their arms around that family and support them, the fundraising efforts that they did. Chief, it was comforting to all of us to know that the people who shot that night are going to be held accountable, and all the hard work your department has done. I've watched it over the last few weeks and how hard you've worked, how you've gone over everything to make this happen. It wasn't easy. And so I applaud both of you. I wish we wouldn't have to, that these circumstances wouldn't happen. We as a high school administration are going to continue to work on our own things and looking at things and how we can work with our students about the dangers in these type of activities and things moving forward. So hopefully we never have another tragedy like this again. In talking about the healing, and we are all working on healing now, we have some upcoming events that are going to be really critical for the healing. One is our annual Unity March this year, which will be on Thursday, January 11th. The students from Cactus Middle School, all of the students from Cactus will be participating this year, as well as some students from Valago and Casa Grande Middle School will be marching from Lencola at 12:30 to 1 o'clock for a rally here at City Hall. The mayor will be welcoming the students there, and then Pastor Edwards will be talking to the students about healing being a unifying force. The principal from Cactus, Rebecca Romo, is here tonight. She is taking over a lot of the planning for this event from me this year, and I'm excited to see what she's going to be doing with it. And then Lisa, Anthony, and I have been participating in a committee for the Day of Service, which will be on Monday, January 15th. Weather permitting, we're going to be at Pert Park. Last year, weather didn't cooperate, and we had to move it in here, and we have plans to move it this year if the weather doesn't permit. One of the things we're going to be recognizing at that was the influence that Pastor Juan Humes had on all of us. He was the driving force of this committee last year, and so we'll be recognizing him. But State Representative Teresa Martinez, Pastor Edwards, Mayor McFarland will be speaking at this event. Pastor Edwards and I will be doing a unity prayer circle, which Pastor Juan led last year. And then at 9:30, the community start of the speeches start at 8:30. And then at 9:30, athletes will be going out into alleys to help clean alleys, paint graffiti, and other community service projects. And at 11 o'clock, we'll all come back for hot dogs. And one of the people I also want to recognize, it's just been a great source of support for our principals, our teachers, our students, the community is Pastor Edwards, who I think he's probably put well over 40 hours coming into our schools, supporting our kids, talking to our athletes, talking to our coaches, our principals, myself, and all that to really comfort us in the healing process. And so, Anthony, I thank you for all of that. This, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Not a lot to add to all that. That's a lot of information, and I just know that our faith community here is united. And I've said this many times, that it is probably the most united faith community I've ever seen. I've lived in 10 different cities, and this one is by far the best. So hold yourself, hold your kids close, your friends close. Talk to your children. That's the best we can do. Make sure you know where they're at, and let's keep them all safe. I did want to say that we had a meeting with Deb today. We were actually interviewing a couple transit commissioners and approved them to be approved by the council. Oh, sorry. We're going to vote on that. Fupa. Forget I said that. And anyway, my intention was to say that Deb had told us that last Friday was the largest number of riders they've ever had. So super impressed. I think Safeway's the number one spot, actually, for destination. And she had the top 4. But more information to come on that. It's pretty enlightening to see the community embrace the transit system. So I want to remind everybody that the house light tour is still going on, and you can go online to see casagrande.gov, and it will be the first thing you see that pops up, and it says you can vote. So vote for your favorite house. There's maps in there that'll also tell you where to go. I would recommend Coyote Ranch. It has some of the best lighting in the city. Is that right?
And it also will be hosting a lighted luminaries on Christmas Eve. So it's a beautiful scene if you want to see something that's very cool. And then really just thank everybody, and you all have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you to my fellow council members too. You all have a Merry Christmas.
Yep.
All right. We need to go into executive session, so I'll need a motion to exit.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. We'll stand adjourned for a couple minutes to clear the room. Thank you again, everyone.